4. Now we begin the temples. I'll bite. Alright. Bing, 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 bing. Thank you. Yeah, I mean... Right off the bat, huh? Guess that's the way it has to be. These guys are usually pretty easy. You just gotta charge at them. You gotta, like, poke them instead of try and swing your sword around. Perfect. Haha! Just missed. Nope. Dang it! Shit. Thank you. That was a little tougher than I thought it would be. I really don't know why. Now my fairy's probably gonna be gone soon. We'll have to go to the fairy fountain. Perfect. Boy, do I need that. Dang it! Alright. Finally, you asshole. About time. God damn. All that for a heart. Okay. Gotcha. tired of dealing with those things. I'm sorry, Charlie. Thanks for the heads up. I appreciate that, Navi. You're so helpful. Oh, nothing. Just playing a game. As usual. Oh, I'm a little tired because I saw Overkill last night. And my body aches because of it. But in a good way. Punk. God, this is such a tedious battle. It's just dancing around, waiting for him to appear again. Ridiculous. Bingo. Did I even get the map? Yeah, I did. That's what I thought. Okay, genius. I hear ya. Let's see. Anything special here I need to know about? Fuck off. Yes, I'm aware. I've only played this game like 1,000,000 times. And of course I need another key, and I have no idea where to go. Oh, I need to go out to the main one, yeah. Yeah, I gotta go back out, because now I have the bow and arrow. I've gotta go to that other corridor, that's right. No! Son of a bitch. That's because I got the red tunic. I got the red and the blue tunic before doing all the temples. I mean, I guess let's see where I left off. Actually couldn't have worked out better for me, honestly. I think that's right where I needed to be. I did pretty much all the pre-temple quests that I could do, reasonably speaking, before I did any of the temples, just to get them out of the way. I'll probably go to the Spirit Temple area, or the Gerudo Valley, next, so I can go ahead and get in with the Hot Babe Club, or as I like to call it, the Hot Girls Club. Alright, so... It's the part that always confuses me. How do we get up there? Huh. Are you just like an intentional troll or something? Alright, keyboard warrior. Calm yourself. I know you gotta self-fillet to your trollness, but I'm not gonna allow it. Geronimo! Son of a bitch. Callie, calm yourself. Callie, calm down, dude. Okay. Jesus Christ, dude. Message retracted like 20 times. I get it, dude. Here comes the fairy. Okay, now I should be good to go. Oh yeah, I'm doing this all authentic. This is an N64. You walked in a little late. The game froze. Or maybe you saw that. If you did, that would pretty much indicate that that's a... This is legit. I used an AV to HDMI converter routed into an Elgato HD60 card. And it's all powered by my computer. It's actually a brand new computer. My old one wasn't able to support it the way I needed it to. Didn't provide enough power. This one really works well. I got a Dell i7 Inspiron. I don't know all the specs, but it has enough gigahertz. It's got an i7 processor. Has plenty of RAM. I shouldn't have any more technical difficulties other than the N64 itself. Now I'm trying to remember where to go. Maybe I should go forward. Yeah, I really like my camera pick or capture as well. It's really good. I have no complaints. Django. Come here. Oh yeah, I played Breath of the Wild. I loved it. I don't know how I could ever stream it though, because it's such a long game. I don't know if I could commit myself to 30 plus hours. Probably take me more than that. It's such a huge game. I love that it's so big and like everything about it is so good, but at the same time, it's a huge commitment. The one thing I did not like about Breath of the Wild was the lack of music. It was a lot of atmospheric stuff. Dang it. Ah. There were not a whole lot of great tunes in Breath of the Wild. That's, to me, what makes it a little less memorable than this game. But yeah, there's not that many dungeons. There's like 4 dungeons. It's all about side quests with Breath of the Wild. It's more about just doing those things, rather than actually, like, the challenge is in the side quests. I enjoyed it for, I guess, more like, what's the word I'm looking for? I love that it was the most ambitious game that Nintendo had ever attempted. It was groundbreaking for sure. Outside of that, yeah, I mean, it was a little lacking at times. I'll agree with you on that. I feel like with this game, it's just a complete experience. You feel more satisfied playing this than you do Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is a huge game. And it takes hours to actually do everything. I loved Breath of the Wild, but I could never put Breath of the Wild above this. I just hope that Nintendo games follow suit after Breath of the Wild. Maybe that Mario Odyssey will be a huge game. But it's hard to really keep the momentum of a long game like that going. And the dungeons, I mean, the bosses were challenging, but it was all about puzzles and stuff. It wasn't a whole lot of like this where you have to fight mini bosses and whatnot to get done what you need to get done. It was more like Okay, you need to activate these switches to turn on the mainframe, and then, oh wait, there's a boss standing in your way before you can turn it on. Oh, I'm definitely nostalgic when it comes to Ocarina of Time as well. Hello, David Nuss from Germany. Yeah, for me, I enjoyed Breath of the Wild in terms of its scope. I really enjoyed the scope of the game. I don't really judge it based on its true merits, simply because it's a first of its kind, and I tend to let it slide when it comes to those sort of things. But if you're looking at it from an objective standpoint, comparing it to other games, then yeah, absolutely. A little bit. I like Rammstein a lot. They're my favorite band. I just know particularly their lyrics. Ich tue weh. Tut mir nicht leid. It's been a long time since I've played Majora's Mask. So I honestly can't give a real opinion about it, because I don't remember half of it. Yeah, anybody that doesn't own this game or has never played it, I kind of feel sorry for you. Not quite Ganon. I kind of wish this was like the first phase of Ganon. Like, let's say there were 3 forms of Ganon. This would have been the first form. And then you would have had him without the horse. And then you would have had, you know, of course, the beast mode. I'll figure it out. Ah, fuck. Again, I'm very limited in my German, but I can kind of make out some words, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I know the basics, like ish is I, and mish is me, and dish is you, and otherwise I got nothing. Pretty much. Oh yeah, I don't have a fairy. What the fuck was I thinking? I'm gonna face Phantom Ganon without a fucking fairy? Ugh. This sucks. Shit! Oh, I can't afford any fuck-ups. Shit! I really can't afford any fuck-ups now. Shit! Yeah, I'm gonna lose. I'm definitely losing here. I'm gonna save, so... I don't have anything. If I get hit again, it's over. Yep. Might as well not even bothered. I gotta go out and get those fairies and come back. Yep, that's what I forgot to do before I went to go fight Phantom Ganon, was get fairies. I mean, I liked the game when I played it as a kid. A lot of people love Majora's Mask. It's just, for me, there's already so many good Zelda games, it's like... It seems like Majora's Mask, unfortunately, gets forgotten. Because you got this, you got Link to the Past, you got the first Zelda... There's lots of other Zelda games to play. And now Breath of the Wild, which is a massive game. Did you see that? I just fell through the floor. That was awesome. That was so cool. Try that next time you play this game. You'll find it funny too. At least I can go right to the boss and not have to go through a lengthy temple to get there. Alright. Now I can fight with a little bit of confidence. DLC for Breath of the Wild? I do have the DLC for Breath of the Wild, but I haven't gotten around to playing it yet. Like, I feel like I already invested so much time into the game, it's like, how could I invest any more time into Breath of the Wild than I already have? I mean, I must have played that game for 50 hours. I mean, that's being probably conservative. Shit. Got him! Got him! See, I don't mind them using that same high roll. I like the high roll that they have right now. Welcome back, David. Sending Indian style sucks after a while. I just can't imagine any older game having any DLC. Maybe if it came out of, like, Virtual Console and then they had, like, deleted scenes, quote-unquote. And they came out with, like, designs that they never intended for the game to have. As, like, bonus DLC for the... online purchases, or the online game. Yeah, the Breath of the Wild is breathtaking. It literally, like, its title totally fits the game. It's a breathtaking game. Like, I'm just blown away by the size. Like, that to me is its appeal, is just the sheer size of the game. Like I said, it's one of those games that, like, we'll look back on in about 15 years and be like, that was a groundbreaking game. And it set the tone for other games. Oh, that's alright, David, no problem. There's an app to convert your speech into English. It's really good. Like, they have all sorts of languages you can use. Like, if you type in the German and stuff, it'll turn into English. I'm sure there's lots of apps like that, but I have one that I really enjoy. I can't remember the name of it. Let me see. I'll definitely use it if I ever travel to Europe or Asia or Russia or anything like that. Not that I would want to go to Russia. The one I have is just called Translator, and it has like a couple thought bubbles, and it has Pro on the top right. I don't know the name of it besides Translator. Well, they put out half-made games. It's like a teaser. It's all about the scratch, you know? It's like they want you to get invested in the game and then be willing to buy the DLC for extra scratch. I think of them as side quests. I don't think they're half-completed games so much, especially with Breath of the Wild. I don't think that really qualifies, in my opinion, as being like a half-completed game, because it looks pretty damn complete to me. I guess it depends on how you look at it. Oh yeah, I have Final Fantasy VII. I haven't gotten around to playing it. That's a lot of time invested. I don't think I'd ever stream that game. It'd probably be on my own time. Yeah, those games are gigantic. They must be, if they require more than one disc. I mean, obviously you never saw anything like that with N64 or GameCube, or maybe you did. I don't remember there ever being a 2-disc GameCube game. If there is one, I don't know. I guess that's why people like Final Fantasy so much. I myself have never been a huge Final Fantasy fan. I find that the whole series is completely overrated, like, honestly. The way that, like, gamers overrate that series is so annoying. Like, anytime there's a fan vote on anything online, it's like, oh, let's just nominate all the Final Fantasy characters. Oh my god, Tifa is so hot. Oh my god, don't you agree? And Sephiroth is such an amazing villain. He's the best villain ever made. He was the greatest of all time, blah blah blah. He should be voted the best villain ever in every countdown, in every poll. Like, to me, I really think Ganondorf's probably the best villain in gaming history. I mean, just look at what he did. Look at what all he's done. Especially in this game. He's such an asshole in this game. Got to get around these wenches. No, I call them the babes, because they're hot. Yeah, I'm definitely not trying to diss on people that like Final Fantasy, because I know it's really beloved. And I know people really enjoy it. It just never appealed to me, and I just, like, I get turned off by the marks for Final Fantasy. That's the real problem I have with Final Fantasy, is, like, the people that mark out for it. They're just so blinded by, like, 2 or 3 games that they're, like, willing to basically throw down logic in favor of their character or their guy from Final Fantasy. It always annoyed me. You know, when they would have, like, polls and stuff, like I said earlier, and they would vote, like, all the Final Fantasy characters just because it was Final Fantasy. Like, if you're looking at a fair, objective poll of who the greatest villain is, I like I said earlier, I think Ganon's probably up there. I'd have to put him in the top 3 for sure. And let's be honest, Sephiroth is not really Sephiroth if you played the game. I mean, I know that to be true because I've seen it, you know, in countless countdowns and spoilers and stuff. So really, Sephiroth is another person. The actual greatest villain ever is the person who imitates Sephiroth, not Sephiroth. Oh! You saw that! Boo! I backed her into a corner and she disappeared and I did too, and we both. Oh! Horrible. Bowser's definitely in the top 3 because he's one persistent fuck. He never gives up. He's more of a cartoonish villain. Like, to me, he's like Team Rocket is to the anime for Pokemon. Like, Jesse and James just never quit. And neither does Bowser. No matter how many times they get owned, no matter how many times they're foolish and idiots and mess up, they keep coming back for more. That's how I think of Bowser. If you're looking at true villainy, I mean, he's definitely a memorable character, but I would almost not, it's hard for me to explain about Bowser. It's not like, I mean, I see him as a villain, but at the same time, I don't take him as seriously as I do Ganon. Bowser's just nostalgic for me. Like, I love Bowser as a villain, and I definitely put him in the top 3. But I don't think, like, in terms of being a true quote-unquote villain and being dastardly and everything, I'd say there's probably more crafty villains. But I would still put him in the top 3, but just because of how long he's been around, for his impact on video games, I mean, he's a great villain when it comes to that particular game. Yeah, he is kind of an old fairy tale, yeah. And that's definitely part of his appeal for sure. There's definitely nothing wrong with a basic villain like that. But if we're talking about dastardly deeds, I don't think Bowser has really ever done anything that dastardly. He's just the dragon that steals the princess, like you said. I'd still put him in the top 3, though. Even though he is so basic. That's not a bad thing, for sure. Like, there have been better villains in video game history, but in terms of being memorable, I'd say that probably qualifies him for the top 3. I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for Dracula from Castlevania. That's a great villain, too. He did. I would say on a... I'm just talking about true villainy, not a cartoonish villain. I mean, he stole the stars, yes. He polluted the town of Delfino Island. That just... all those concepts to me are really kind of sophomoric, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a knock on Bowser. That's just the way I see it. Like, taking the wishes away is something that would happen on, like, a cartoon. he is a tortured soul, but God, I look at the things that he's done as well. Let's see. I mean, he took Death himself and made him his bitch. Death himself takes orders from fucking Dracula. Fucking awesome. He tried to kill his own son in Symphony of the Night. He possessed Richter Belmont. He's come back time and time again and laid waste to the land with his plague. I definitely sympathize with Dracula way more than I do Ganon. Like you said, he has absolutely no redeemable qualities. And yeah, I did steal that line from AVGN. So you're saying that it was self-defense? Dracula was playing self-defense card. Maybe that was a Johnny Cochran thing. Like maybe he represented Dracula in another life or something, and like got him off on self-defense. Yeah, I just look at a great video game villain from a real villainous standpoint, like real evil. And I also look at it in terms of appeal. If Bowser wasn't a great villain, how good would the Mario games actually be? Like, they're fun games, don't get me wrong, but like, you get invested in Mario. Like, Mario is not one of the most popular characters in video game history for nothing. You always have to have some sort of foil or villain around him that makes him likable or relatable. Without Bowser, Mario's not nearly as good. That's just as simple as that. And without the backstory of the I wouldn't say it's mythological, but it's more like Tall Tale. You know, he's got to rescue the princess. That's a story as old as time. And like I said, him being sophomoric or cartoonish is definitely not a knock on him. That's just the way I see Bowser in general. Especially when I compare him to Ganon. Alright, one more to go. I think everybody would agree that, like, Miyamoto is probably the most significant video game person of all time. I mean, I don't think there's any debate. He's the guy that launched 1,000 games, or probably like more like 1,000,000 games. Oh, you asshole! I only had one more to get. Damn it. Yeah, fuck you. Oh shit. The fuck? Where am I? Well, the thing you have to remember about guys in that position is that when you're being told day in and day out for years how awesome you are and how you can do no wrong, you're going to get an ego. It's just like Donald Trump. Everybody fails to neglect that, like, basically he's one of the richest persons on the planet. Of course people are going to schmooze to him. Of course people are going to kiss his ass and tell him how great he is. It's because they want his money. They want to be part of his clique. And so, if Donald Trump doesn't have an ego, then I'm fucking gay. Not that being gay is a bad thing. I don't want to confuse that with being homophobe. I'm just saying I'm straight and I have no intention of being gay. Oh, I was just here. I can't go back. All in all, I wish people in America would just, like, stop having so much faith in, like, the humanity of other people. Or having... Oh, I should say, not so much that, but, like, why do they always act so shocked when some guy like Donald Trump is, like, a dick? Or, like, somebody that, like... I guess it's good to have a high moral standard, but it's another thing to have an unreasonable moral standard. That's what I'm trying to say. So when it comes to a guy like Donald Trump, should you really be that surprised that he's kind of a dick? Not really. Or you could look at it this way, he's proud of his work. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think Donald Trump's racist. I think racism and white supremacy is just like two terms that get thrown around without any real meaning to them. Like, it's just like one of those shock terms, like, to get under people's skin and to, like, troll. To me, it's like one big troll. Like, if you don't really have any evidence for something and you're, like, beaten in, like, a conversational level or intellectual level by somebody that knows what they're talking about, their first instinct is to insult them. And what's the first insult that you have that generally garners the most reaction because of what's happened, you know, the last 400 years? Oh, he's a racist, misogynist, white supremacist. Yeah, that's it. I just don't see how he wasn't ever called a racist or white supremacist before 2 years ago. Like, ever. It was never talked about. And now it's all of a sudden like he's just the worst guy ever. It's like, okay, well, how did he go in 2 years from being a decent, kind of likable guy to being the worst human that ever lived? It's just weird. Define old school racist. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Well, he's certainly likable because of The Apprentice. Does anybody forget that he was on The Apprentice and that it was a highly rated show? He apparently was likable enough to get ratings. If he wasn't likable, then how did he get that show and how did he get ratings? I don't know. Because he's an asshole racist, apparently? I don't know. Well, I mean, Donald Trump's like 70, you know? If he's not slightly racist, that shouldn't come... I mean, to me, if he's not somewhat slightly racist, it's kind of a shocker to me. I mean, he might be a little bit, but I don't call him a full-out white supremacist like everybody seems to think he is. I mean, that shouldn't come as much of a shock because he's like 70. I'm sure he got, at some point in his childhood, indoctrinated that, you know, black people were probably lesser than white people. I feel like we're arguing semantics here. I just never saw him being that horrible of a person. And nobody really hated him until like 2 years ago. Or even a year ago. He only became that awful person when it was convenient for the left to smash him to pieces. Like, he might have slightly been a bad guy before that in the public eye, but, I mean, where did he go from being, like, here on the bad scale to being, like, all the way up here? Just because he ran for president and won in what was the most shocking upset ever? I don't think the left will ever forgive him for winning that election. That's what I think they're most mad about, is that Hillary didn't win. More than they are mad at Trump. But that's Hillary's fault. She was the least likable candidate ever. I wasn't going to vote for her either way. I didn't vote for either one of them, but like, if I had been so inclined to vote for Trump, or vote for either one of them, I would have voted for Trump. I would have, in no scenario, voted for Hillary. Absolutely no scenario. Like, she even now still refuses to take the fall for that election. Her faults are what caused her to lose. I would say that was the main reason more than anything, was just her. If you want to know why she lost, it's because she sucked. You do have to be diplomatic, but I like that he's shaking things up. I mean, not so much that, like, everybody hates his guts and, like, he's being called a racist, white supremacist, misogynist every day. I just think that, like, we've been overdue for sort of an overhaul in terms of the current political structure. Like, he's the atypical candidate that should have happened, what, like, 20 years ago? I'm not saying I'm a Trump supporter, I'm just saying, like, the status quo is unacceptable nowadays. Like, the way things were before he got elected, we were going in a real bad direction, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if Hillary was president, we'd probably be at war with Russia right now. And I'm not even exaggerating. Let me think. I don't need to do anything more for... I should just play the fire theme. What am I doing? Alright, let's do this. Fire Temple. My least favorite thing about this game is the fire bats. I hate them. Like, I despise them so much. Like, my first instinct when I see them is to kill them. Like, right away. I don't even give it a second thought. It's like, bam. You're dead first. Way to go. That's awesome, man. I don't think that Obama was the worst president ever, but I will say there are things he could have done differently. One of my biggest complaints is, like, he basically drew a line in between society where it made things uncomfortable for loose spirits like myself to be open. Like, that was why ultimately Trump won the elections, because Obama started that shit with, like, basically saying, you're going to be made to agree with our policies. You're going to be made to agree with our stance on things. You're going to be made to agree with the left or else. I'd say he did more for, like, drawing the line in the sand, but in society, than more so than being political. I think he did a lot of political good. Societally wise, I don't think so. Societal. I'm stuttering on my words. Shit. Oh, I agree. There's a lot of extreme left and right people in this country, and it pisses me off. I would probably classify myself as a liberal, but not in the traditional leftist sense. I'm definitely not a leftist. I think there's a strong difference between a leftist and a liberal. I think a liberal probably doesn't give a shit. Yeah, this is the Fire Temple. I agree, William. That's a great point. The education in this country is horrible. The system in place is not acceptable at all. It all boils down to education, man. It's not become about, oh, let's try to educate people better so they won't make the same mistakes over and over again. It's, oh, let's play the victim card and we'll just give you everything that you don't have, because obviously you're being swindled if you're not, you know, as good or as successful as person A. We'll just give person's A money to you, even though you're person B. That goes back to, you know, income taxes, federal income taxes. I'm a pharmacist by trade. I lose, if I'm making, let's say, $52 an hour, which is how much I got paid at my last job. I lose probably, so that's probably around, let's see, $4,160 every 2 weeks. So I'm going to lose $1,500 of that right off the top, pretty much because of all the federal taxes. I live in a state that doesn't have an income tax, so I don't lose any extra. But the fact that I lose that much money per paycheck just because of how successful I am, I don't find that to be very fair. It's like one big swindle. It's like, do you really, like, how can you fault me for being success? Oh, wait, because the person that's, you know, in the lower class or impoverished, clearly I swindled his money. You know, clearly I took his money and that's why I'm so rich and successful and everything. It's like a big victimhood nation right now. And it completely distracts from the fact that everybody needs to have better education available. That's the real problem, is that people need to be educated. And they refuse to fix the education system. And it blows my mind. If people were better educated, they wouldn't make the same mistakes, but it's like they almost want them to make the same mistakes over and over again, because that's what drives their economy or their society or whatever their ideal is. Well, I gotta get out of here. Oh, by the way, I got this in the mail last night. I'm gonna play that later today, probably, while I'm taking a break from this game. The big problem with the education system, going back to the topic of discussion, the big problem with it is not every idea is being shared. It's not, to me, it's like a lack of freedom of speech or a lack of freedom of ideas. That's the big problem for me, is that there's just such a huge lack of diversity in education. It's like one standardized format. That's the biggest problem for me, is that it's all standardized right now. I think people in the know just want people to be stupid, because that's what drives consumerism, is lofty, stupid purchases and lofty, stupid loans being given out. If people were more educated, they'd probably stop listening to like half of the popular quote-unquote artists in music right now. I just don't find any real artistic value in, like, Beyonce. But apparently she's one of the biggest divas ever. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying she's a very successful woman. And honestly, I don't mind taxes either, but it's just the way and the amount that I'm being taxed. It's ridiculous. It's like I said, I'm getting penalized for being a success story. I have to use the bathroom. Ugh. I mean, that's all well and dandy for PSU, but I'm talking about college campuses across the country, not just one. I feel like it's just what's going on with like UC Berkeley is bad. And I'm sure that's not the only place that that sort of thing is happening. And see, that gets me back to my point as far as being a liberal college. I think most colleges now are pretty much liberal. I'd be hard-pressed to find a conservative college that isn't, like, private. Like, private schools generally have conservative views. For instance, the pharmacy school that I went to had conservative views. And it was a private school. I think it works both ways, though. I think you can have restriction of free speech in conservative colleges as well. Why are there two rocks coming together like that? That's crazy. Now, where do I go? I think there's a systemic silencing of conservative viewpoints in mainstream. That's the main problem, is that people's thoughts are pretty much restricted nowadays. Like, it's not fair. What's fair is that everybody gets a chance to say their piece, and at the end of the day, that's the way it should be. No matter how wrong or stupid they may appear, it's still freedom of speech at the end of the day. Like, no matter how much you hate white supremacists or neo-Nazis, at least I would like to be able to say that they at least had a chance to say what they wanted to say. Even though we might all disagree with them, which I do, of course, which I'm sure like 99% of Americans do. Of course, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. You can yell fire in a crowded theater, but you're probably going to get arrested for it. Because what you have is probably inciting a riot or disturbing the peace. Either one, however you want to look at it. Nope. I mean, I think that's kind of besides the point, though. I said freedom of speech, not freedom of consequences. I'll repeat the same phrase I just said. That's how I see it. You know? Same case. I mean... if you do that in this country, you're probably going to get your ass kicked. I mean, I'm not saying that they should get their ass kicked. I'm not saying that it's legal to do so. I'm just saying somebody's going to do it. I don't know who, but someone's likely going to kick your ass for doing that. Make what a crime? Oh! White supremacists want to... Wow. Well, white supremacists are generally pretty much inbred idiots anyway. But I still believe in a country where you're able to say all that inbred dumb shit anyway. It doesn't mean you're not going to get your ass kicked. It definitely doesn't mean that. I mean, I don't think it should be legal to kick someone's ass either, but for that shit, but I mean, there's nothing more provocative than a racial slur, man. I hate this part. Not only that, but I gotta deal with bats and I have no arrows. What? Bullshit! Ah, fucking A. There we go. It's not that protesters are stopping free speech. I just think there are a lot of... It's hard to explain. So, at UC Berkeley, basically, like, the administration pretty much backed everything that was going on in terms of the protesting. They turned their head when, you know, people that didn't have liberal points of view were getting beat up. You had celebrities agreeing with what was going on in terms of the conservatives getting beat up. I mean, you saw what happened with Milo, right? As far as him getting banned from, you know, from speaking at UC Berkeley. It took until now for them to finally bring it back. I'll put it to you this way. Inflammatory speech is only as inflammatory as you make it. It's not really divisive so much as, you know, people are just stuck in a bubble and refuse to leave the bubble. That's what makes it inflammatory and divisive, because it doesn't compute with their mindset. If they would think outside the box for a minute, then maybe they wouldn't feel that way. And that, to me, goes back to the point about the education system that we were talking about. It really wouldn't be that controversial if every point of view was given a fair shake. If everybody would think about it and have more open minds, it wouldn't be that inflammatory or divisive. Yep, and that once again goes back to poor education. If people were more educated, if the education system was better in this country, I guarantee you that the level of inflammation and divisiveness when it comes to quote-unquote conservative points of view would not nearly be as bad. What was BS? I'm not really talking about white supremacists in terms of views being shunned. I'm talking about conservative points of view. I'm talking about people that are not white supremacists. Oh! Oh! Okay, I know what you mean. Gotcha. We're on the same page. Okay. Yeah. What happened to Milo was total bullshit. And I'm glad that they finally caved. I'm glad that they finally were able to say, look, okay, we fucked up. We're gonna give you your fair shake. But, like, they're not making it easy for him even now. Like, it's crazy, like, how much he had to go through just to be able to speak. Like, he had to pay this huge security fee. Like, there's just so much going on around that whole thing. Let's see. See, that's what I'm talking about as far as oppression of speech. Is guys like Milo not being able to speak. And, like, literally the institution is doing everything they can to prevent it. That is the prime example of what I'm talking about. That is what I'm not for. At all. It's ridiculous that we have to have safe spaces like that, where people just literally cannot handle at all what Milo's saying. He's not doing anything, he's saying stuff. He's just speaking. Like, people are so afraid of that kind of thought, it's unreal. Like, it's just mind-blowing how idiotic some of these guys are. Okay. I'm a little lost, so where do I go now? I don't know anymore. Maybe here? Now, how do I get up there? I wonder. Yeah, I don't think Milo really believes in most of the stuff that he... I feel like he believes in a lot of it, but not all of it. Some of it I don't think he truly believes. I think he's doing it to be a comedian and also a provocateur. He does have some good points, but I think he's doing it mostly for show. Like, I really think it's just for show. Ben Shapiro is probably the most logical of the two, by far. I think Ben Shapiro just deals in facts, like always. Milo deals in trying to get people to react and think. Like, that too really bugs me, that there's so many comedians nowadays that are banned from campuses or refuse to play on campuses because of that sort of thing I was talking about. People just don't want to laugh anymore. Like, it's sad. You know what? Oh yeah, it's down here. I knew I needed to come back to the beginning. He did? Damn, Chris Rock. Alright, let's do this. But wait! This battle's like a glorified whack-a-mole. Hang on, let me pause it for a sec. Damn it! Forgot about the rebound. I didn't know they could do that. Okay, now I know. Gotcha, you bitch! Yeah! No more Goron meat for you. Oh, don't worry about it, man. I like having discussions about random shit other than gaming. It makes things interesting. I mean, I'm really not afraid to lay my balls out there for everybody to see. I just feel like society nowadays has kind of made people afraid. And I don't blame them. Look at all the shit that's happened. Never mind. Bathroom break.
Oh, again.
Gonna get back in time. Now to complete the paradox. Whoop. Oops. He's like Uncle Fester in Fester's Quest. Fuck. Whoops! That was bad. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out! Shit. Get out of there! Got him. But the weird thing is, Sephiroth wasn't even the guy. Like, it's not even the same person as Sephiroth. It was somebody disguised as him. Like, Sephiroth is just the image. I don't know who the name of the main villain is, but... Whoops. Yeah, I'm trying to get out of here. Whoops. Well, my work here is done. I'm not going to waste my time with the rest of this dungeon. as I came here to get what I wanted, and I got it. Who did Sephiroth even kill? I don't even know. What am I doing? I can just teleport. I forgot I have the option to do that now. Man, that's cold. Stab through the spine. Hey, I don't care. I mean, I'll figure it out for myself. If I ever get around to playing the game. I mean, that's a big if. I just got into a period recently where I collected a lot of games, and that just happened to be one of them. It's all good. Oh yeah. The big quiver. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna stop and take a break, because I've been at it for 3 hours and 15 minutes, so... Yeah, I'll come back and do the god-awful water temple in the next part.